loans. Or if you're past due and you need help, you must call right now. We will restructure your loan or your money back, and that's a guarantee. So call the Student Loan Hotline right now. 800-949-8707. 800-949-8707. 800-949-8707. 800-949-8707.
All right, welcome to the show, Fifth Street Soccer here on the Sports Byline USA and SB Nation Radio Networks. It's great to be with you. I'm Nick Eber. I have a great show in store for you today. I'll be joined shortly here by my co-host Nick Webster, and we do have a lot to get to after an exceptionally eventful weekend in the Premier League. There are some recurring topics that we just can't avoid anymore. So today, we're going to talk about Manchester United, we're going to talk about Chelsea, we're going to talk Manchester City, we're going to talk three teams with 0 losses, about 20% into the season already. There's a lot to get to today. We're also going to take a look ahead at this week in the Champions League. There are some mouth-watering matchups, including a visit to Wembley by Barcelona. Let's talk about that. Liverpool-Napoli, Manchester United-Valencia. There's a lot of good matches that we can talk about coming up this week in the Champions League as well. Plus, I'm going to give you all a lesson in going with your gut, a lesson in believing in yourself. And we'll get to more of that when I come back. And of course, we couldn't get through the day without talking about Jose Mourinho and the disaster at Manchester United. Is he leaving? Is he staying? And what an interesting comparison to make between Jose Mourinho on one hand, the, shall we say, former special one, and Maurizio Sarri on the other hand, the new, reinvigorated one on the other side. These are great topics. These are great thoughts because they come from me. Well, I didn't mean that. These are great. These are really fascinating stuff going on right now in the world of global football. Here's how it works, folks. If you'd like to participate, just pick up the phone and give me a call in studio, 800-878-PLAY. Facebook is facebook.com/Fifth Street Sports Talk. You can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/Fifth Street Sports. Twitter, at Fifth Street Sports. Go to fifthstreetsports.com. And I would be remiss if I didn't want to remind you that for the absolute best in inside betting information, that's right, those tips and tricks, wouldn't you like to bet with the pros? Well, you can do that right now. Go to fifthstreetsports.com and sign up for the Fifth Street Advantage. It's a great product, folks. You're going to get in your text message every day picks and values and lines of where the pros are betting. You're not going to get anything better than that. You can go to fifthstreetsports.com, sign up for the Fifth Street Advantage today. All right, big hello to our men and women in uniform around the world listening on American Forces. I'm Nick Eber. I'll be joined by Nick Webster, and we'll be right back.
Hey, travelers, do you want to save money?
All right, level is perfect. Keep it right there.
That's right. Call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish
Scott,
online.
do we have Nick yet?
With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip. Or...
You talking to me?
Yeah, do we have Nick yet?
Not yet. I'm going to dig up his phone number on my phone here in a minute.
Thank you.
Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first-class tickets.
855-325-1780. 855-325-1780. That's 855-325-1780.
Being a new parent means every high and low you can imagine. But Evos can make it all easier with a baby monitor you can trust. Go to myevos.com, that's MYEVOZ.com, to see how Evos can be the eyes and ears of your nursery. Evos works with your smartphone to provide a live audio and HD video connection to your baby anytime and anywhere. On a date, at work, away on business, even serving your country overseas, Evos helps you never miss a moment. Whether your baby is with a sitter, your partner, a grandparent, or a friend, you'll be right there too. And with unique features like smart alerts that know the difference between a barking dog and your baby crying, extensive sleep tracking data, and state-of-the-art security features for your peace of mind, Evos is the smart baby monitor for connected parents. And enter the code SPORTS at checkout for $20 off. That's myevos.com. MYEVOZ.com.
If you are age 85 or younger, call to learn.
Okay, Nick Webster's queued up.
From a licensed agent in the Angel Care Network. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. Are you at risk of leaving loved ones to help pay your debts? A final expense policy for seniors can pay up to $30,000 for funeral and other final expenses. You don't need a medical exam, and you can have lifetime coverage, and the policy cannot be canceled. To receive free information about final expense plans from a licensed agent in the Angel Care Network, call now. You'll also receive information about a free prescription discount card just for calling in. Agents are standing by.
Call 800-508-5774. 800-508-5774. 800-508-5774. Call now. That's 800-508-5774.
Welcome back to the show, Fifth Street Soccer Sports Byline USA, SB Nation Radio. Of course, a big hello to our men and women in uniform listening around the world via the American Forces Network. We're also streaming live on iHeart and TuneIn. We're everywhere you want to be. I'm Nick Eber, and I'm joined by my co-host Nick Webster. Nick, a very busy weekend.
Yes, fascinating stuff in the Premiership. I wasn't as clairvoyant as I usually am, but we did say that Manchester United had a big game, and it turned out that way. And one wonders just how long Jose Mourinho can stay in power.
Well, Nick, we're going to get to that topic. It's obviously going to take up a large portion of what we talk about today. But before the break, before you were on, actually, I had mentioned that this weekend was really a lesson in self-belief, Nick, in believing how good you are, believing in what you stand for, believing in your intuition and gut. And of course, I did none of that because, Nick, I wimped out this weekend. And when I placed my bets, I bet on your picks this weekend. My picks were actually shockingly good, Nick. And if I'd gone with them, I would have had a wickedly profitable weekend. Obviously, neither you nor I got the Manchester United-West Ham result because, quite frankly, you'd have to have fixed the match, I think, if you could have got that one. But Arsenal, Watford, I think we both agreed Arsenal. We got that. I went for Everton. You said the draw. And, Nick, I bet your draw. Huddersfield, Tottenham, we both said Tottenham. They ended up winning. City, Brighton, Hove Albion, we said City. Of course, they won. Newcastle, Leicester, Nick, I went with Leicester City. You talked me into the draw. Unfortunately, Leicester City did win that. Wolverhampton Wanderers, we both went for Wolves. Chelsea, Liverpool, Nick, if you remember, I said the draw. You said 2-1 Chelsea, and I just didn't bet it because I have no balls. Cardiff, Burnley, we both got that one wrong, I believe. No, I said Cardiff, and you said the draw, and we were both wrong on that one. And Bournemouth, Crystal Palace, Nick, we did agree on one, and we got one right. So, Nick, do you think I should believe in myself from now on?
Well, I think that's a given, although I do say that I feel desperately unlucky because it did take a Daniel Sturridge worldie to make my prediction fail in the last minute of the game. So I'm kind of claiming a moral victory on that one. But yeah, there were a couple of stunners, and if you had taken that 1-1, that would have been quite a nice little payout for you.
It would have indeed, Nick. It would have been a plus 230. In fact, if I had taken all of my picks, I would have been 8-2. But of course, some of them had little or no value in them. I mean, there was no value in betting Manchester City, either the over or the under at minus 1,115. There was just no value in there for Manchester City, and likewise for Tottenham, etc., etc. Anyway, Nick, let's get to the issue because Manchester United have an absolutely massive Champions League match coming up, a match that one wouldn't normally would say should be massive, but it is, because they are playing Valencia. I believe is that tomorrow they're playing Valencia, or are they playing them on Wednesday? Tomorrow. Now, United already won their first match against Young Boys, and so they got to beat up Young Boys, which I know sounds terrible. But this match, Nick, takes on all sorts of epic proportions after the shock result of the weekend, after the pressure Jose Mourinho is under. And I think we're really going to see at Old Trafford. I would say if they have a good, solid result against Valencia, it should take some of the heat off Mourinho. On the other hand, if they draw or struggle or eke a win, I think it's just a matter of days.
Hello?
You there, Nick?
Yeah, sorry, I lost you there for a second.
Oh, well, it was my brilliant statement. I said, really they need a good, solid result tomorrow at Old Trafford against Valencia, I think, to give Mourinho some breathing room, if any.
Well, to be fair, in the Champions League, they have a 100% record, but from what I'm reading is that should the result go against Manchester United, this could potentially be Mourinho's last game in charge, which would be a really stunning turn of events, Mourinho to be the first manager sacked. But at the end of the day, you can get rid of the manager, you can't get rid of 10 players, and it does seem to me that the players have actually stopped playing for the special one. I mean, the lack of effort in that game at West Ham United was quite staggering for a team of internationals.
Actually, Nick, it's funny you mentioned that, because that was precisely one of the points that I was going to bring out, is that it seems like he's not just lost the dressing room, he's lost the team. They seem totally disinterested in him, and the fact that the Mirror is reporting, by the way, that Zidane called Mourinho and said it's absolutely not true that I've been approached to take over your job. Pogba did say it's Mourinho or me, and I'm just wondering if United are looking at the core of this team, looking at players like Paul Pogba, who they know is a world-class player, and saying, do we want to let this guy go because we don't have a manager that can make it work? And all they have to do, Nick Webster, is take a look at what's happened at Stamford Bridge under Maurizio Sarri. There was a great article, I don't remember if it was at BBC or at Guardian, talking about Sarri and his approach to the team and to the dressing room and to the players, and that the difference between Sarri and Conte is that Sarri treats his players like grown-ups, makes them responsible for their actions. He's done little things. He's put sweets back on the menu. He no longer forces the players to spend the night prior to a home game at a hotel away from their families. He trusts them. He treats them like grown-ups. He treats them like professionals. He gives them respect, and as a result, that respect goes back to him. And I think Chelsea are a joy to watch, Nick Webster, to play, to watch, and where they are right now on the table with no defeats, little less than 20% into the season, is really a testament to the difference a manager can make. Because remember, there just aren't that many changes between the Sarri team and the Conte team.
Well, I think what you're mentioning there, and we've spoken about it quite a few times over the last 6 months, is that there's been a whole culture shift in management. It's no longer the manager dictates all the rules, and you need to be able to communicate with today's players in a different way. And rightly or wrongly, today's players don't want to be bossed around. They don't want to be told what to do. They do want a firm hand, and they do want to be led, but they don't want to be treated like children. And I think, Mourinho's been in the game long enough to be called an old school manager. Sarri, we've spoken about, didn't actually start managing until he was 40. I mean,
Yeah.
he's only been in the game, a little over 10 years.
Well, he's a former banker, Nick. He's a former banker.
Yeah, I mean,
And a chain smoker.
It comes from a completely different culture to what I think players are used to. And in some ways, I think it's kind of refreshing for the Chelsea players, and that's why they've responded so positively to him, whereas Mourinho, I mean, he's been managing at the top level for so long. He really hasn't taken the sabbatical that Pep Guardiola did and got away from the game completely. And so I think there's a certain amount of burnout with Mourinho in play, and there's a certain amount of just old school, this is how he does it, and if you don't do it the Mourinho way, he's not going to have you around for very much longer. And I think today's young players, they aren't responding to it the way the John Terrys and the Frank Lampards did in the noughties.
Well, that's exactly right, Nick, and we're going to continue this discussion on the other side of the break, which we have to go to in about a minute, but I think it is a fascinating contrast between two managers, and you can sort of throw Klopp and Guardiola into there, Pochettino as well. They're all sort of different managers on the evolutionary scale, and whereas 10 years ago Mourinho was the special one, I think now maybe he's past his sell-by date, and his techniques, man management-wise, are possibly archaic, and certainly his tactics don't seem to be spot on, as opposed to what's happening at Stamford Bridge and Anfield and Wembley. It's just a completely different situation. We'll continue the discussion on the other side of the break. This is Fifth Street Soccer. I'm Nick Eber with my co-host Nick Webster. Let's talk more Manchester United. Let's talk Champions League when we come back after the break.
Hi, Rick Tittle here. You may know me as the sports talk host that can talk about all sports: football, basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, golf, tennis, auto racing, boxing, Olympics, rollerball. But this time I'm here to talk about pain. If you have pain in your knee or your back like I do, then you should know about the Health Alert Hotline. If Medicare is your primary insurance, then you could qualify for a back or knee brace at little or no charge. I have an old injury from my football playing days, and anything that can help take that pain away and make it more manageable, that has my attention. I love the free delivery, and they take care of the paperwork for you. So if you have Medicare and need help for back, ankle, knee, or shoulder pain, please call the Health Alert Hotline at 800-428-1570. That's 800-428-1570. Agents are standing by 24/7, so go ahead and call now. 800-428-1570.
Hi, I'm Dr. Robert Clapper, Chief of Orthopedic Surgery at Cedars-Sinai Medical Group in Los Angeles, California. Dedicated to your health, your life, and your sports. As a weekend warrior, you know about sports injuries and pain. Exercise is an important element in keeping your body's core in good shape to minimize sports injuries. But when you are in pain, there is one product that I recommend to my patients, and that is Blue Goo Gel. Blue Goo consists of a proprietary formula developed specifically for the treatment of inflammation and general muscle aches and strains. I recommend Blue Goo for my patients coping with hip and knee pain before surgery, especially bursitis and tendinitis. Give Blue Goo a try. Call 1-888-330-0123 and you'll receive a 1-week supply of Blue Goo absolutely free. The makers of Blue Goo are even paying the shipping. The number again is 1-888-330-0123. If you want more information on Blue Goo, visit online at www.dothegoo.com.
Now available at select Big 5 stores near you.
Attention business owners. Are you struggling while waiting for your customers to pay on their net 30, 60, or 90-day invoices? Can't get a business loan? Have no equity? Bad credit? Or maybe no credit at all? Then you need to call AmeriFactors right now. AmeriFactors will give you cash for your invoices and there's nothing to pay back. We simply buy your account receivables, and if those clients don't pay on the invoices, we take the loss. We give you funds based on your account receivables, not your credit. And 98% of all applicants are approved. It's that simple. With AmeriFactors, there's no more waiting for your customers to pay. We give you the funds up front, then we wait for your customers to pay us. Fund your business today. Call AmeriFactors right now.
800-847-1183. 800-847-1183. 800-847-1183. That's 800-847-1183.
Welcome back to the show, Fifth Street Soccer, Sports Byline USA, SB Nation Radio Networks, and of course, We are broadcasting live to our servicemen and women who are serving around the world, listening on the American Forces Network. It is a pleasure and a privilege to speak to each and every one of you weekdays or weeknights, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on these very same networks. Nick Webster, one of the discussions that is, one of the things that's happening very quietly, let's not say discussions, is that very, very quietly, Unai Emery has turned this Arsenal train around. And right now, I want to say that they are 5-2 in the Premier League. Unbeaten in the last 7 matches. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, they're on a little bit of a roll at the moment. I mean, defensively, though, they're still all over the shop. But yes, in the Premier League, they've been grinding out results in a kind of un-Arsenal-like way. They had a very good result against Watford this weekend, and some of the big stars are beginning to play with a little bit more passion, a little bit more verve. Although I think one of the disappointing things for Arsenal is going to be the fact that they couldn't get Aaron Ramsey to sign a new deal, and so potentially he's off to Liverpool at the end of the season on a free transfer. But yeah, I think Emery is keeping up the Arsene Wenger way of playing while adding a certain amount of more defensive, shall we say, intelligence.
Well, what is interesting to me, Nick, and I mentioned that we're now a little under 20% into the Premier League season already, if you can believe that, which is incredible to me, that normal service has been resumed and that the top 5 is City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham, Arsenal. And if Manchester United weren't such an absolute abortion of a team right now, they could well be up there fighting in that group. That the sort of surprises of the past are gone and that the cream has indeed risen to the top, much as we suspected that it would, Nick. And the fact that we have 3 teams who are still unbeaten on the season, as well as 2 teams who have conceded 3 goals apiece out of 7 games, tells me, Nick, as much as I look at these results, it is starting to look a little like a 2-horse race between Liverpool and City. I know Chelsea are right there, and they are a terrific team. I've just spoken about what an incredible job I think Sarri is doing there. But, you know, they have defensively not quite as strong. It is fascinating to see these defensive juggernaut teams, Liverpool and Manchester City, battle it out. And this could come down to the wire, Nick. This could come down to another year of goal differential.
Well, we spoke about goal differential, I think, on the show on Friday, and the fact that Liverpool really haven't put anybody to the sword yet, and Man City have, put 6 past Cardiff, and they put 5 past Huddersfield, or vice versa. So, goal differential will certainly come into play at some point. I think it's a bit too early to be talking about it, but in terms of how the big boys are performing, I think they've got to be aware of it, and when they have the opportunity to really slaughter somebody. And I think I'm going to be taking a good look at Chelsea this weekend, because they're on the road to Southampton, who have been giving up goals pretty easily, and this could be an opportunity for Chelsea to get themselves back into the plus column on the goal differentials, because City against Liverpool usually a high-scoring game, but they tend to cancel each other out, right?
They do tend to cancel each other out, very much so, Nick. And there is a lot to look at tomorrow in the Champions League. By the way, Billy Donlan writes that he likes Moscow +1 against Real Madrid tomorrow. He's expecting a draw, though. That would be a shocking result.
Well, that would be a shocking result. What does he know that we don't know? Does he have a Russian connection that is perhaps manipulating the odds on Facebook?
Well, I don't know. It is at the Luzhniki, though. So, I mean, it is in Moscow. Madrid have to travel there. And I want to say that Gareth Bale is injured, is he not?
Yeah, he was taken out of the game, the big derby game at the weekend. And, Real Madrid failed to score in that game. It was played at home at the Bernabeu. So perhaps there are some warning signs there. They did lose in midweek as well. So Madrid haven't won in a couple of games. Perhaps this is time for some good value, and I'm sure the draw must be outstanding value as well.
Well, while we're talking, Nick, I'm gonna check it out, and I'm gonna have a look at what the odds are. But let's get back to what we were talking about, the Premier League, for a minute. It does seem to me that things are getting settled at the top of the table, and it is early to talk about who's going to win, and it is early, you're right, to talk about goal differential and all of the rest. But there's a couple of teams that, for me, when I look at the table today, are really sticking out like sore thumbs. One's obviously Newcastle, who are down in 18th position, and the other is, of course, Manchester United, with all their troubles going on right now. And I suppose they have to make a decision at Manchester United. Do we want to look to build a core of a team around a player like Paul Pogba? Or do we want to bring in a manager like a Sarri or an Emery or a Klopp, someone that we can build the team around? Because I tell you, at this point, Nick, their choice of managers has not been good. And look, you can put this down to Mourinho's third season blues, but I think these troubles are much deeper than that. I think, as we said at the beginning of the show, he has truly lost the team. So do they decide to dump Mourinho and build around Paul Pogba and his youth and everything he's got to offer, and bring in a manager to supplement that? Or do they bring in another manager, someone like a Sarri? Or do they just dump Pogba, stay with Mourinho, and throw all that and go all in on this manager? The reason I mentioned the two teams that stand out for me as ones that are really struggling between Manchester United and Newcastle is, Nick, the big matchup coming up this weekend. It is at Old Trafford, when Newcastle will visit Manchester United, and that is a fascinating match. It's a Benitez against Mourinho, potentially, if he's still there.
If he's still there, yeah. I mean, if I was United, I'd be tempted to dump Pogba. I think his attitude as a player and as a World Cup winner and as someone as experienced as him has been absolutely atrocious. I mean, there has to be a certain amount of professionalism, and the fact that he doesn't like being called out by Mourinho for being unprofessional stinks of being unprofessional. You know, I think that United are all in on Mourinho. You know, they've given him the new contract. As long as they keep chugging along in the Champions League, and we know that at some point they're going to turn it around in the Premier League as well. I don't think it's completely alarm bells just yet. However, that being said, and should they lose home to Newcastle, well, I think that would be the end of Mourinho. But I don't see that happening. Although we said that last weekend at West Ham.
Didn't we just? And what a shocker that really was, Nick. I thought at the worst for United would have been a draw. Couldn't imagine them losing 3-1. By the way, as we speak, folks, the lines are changing on Moscow, CSK Moscow against Real Madrid. They just shifted. It's +1 now for Moscow at -105. The money line for Moscow is +440. Madrid -179. That's not a prohibitive favorite by any stretch of the imagination. It's 2.5. Over 2.5 is -148, and the under is the lines are shifting. Here we go. Moscow, as we speak, folks, the lines are shifting. Right now, I have CSKA Moscow now a +500. Nick, would you be tempted to have a flutter at +500 for the money line?
Oh well, you know what? It would certainly make the game a lot more exciting.
I'm going to call him back after the break.
First goal. So, you know what? If you're feeling in an extravagant mood, why not?
Why not? Why not? Absolutely. The other great odds are, I talk about favorites, Nick. Juventus -589. Young boys. If you want to bet on Kevin Spacey's team, it's +1400 on the money line. That is a long shot. But folks, coming back after the break, and we've still got about 2 minutes here, we're going to start to get into all the Champions League. I really want to wrap up our Premier League discussion. Nick, if Mourinho does go, I know Zidane called Mourinho and told him he hasn't been approached, but you have to think if Mourinho goes, Zidane's the logical successor, right?
Zidane's the only person that's going to take over Manchester United. And about Manchester United here, we're not talking about Rotherham United. I mean, we're talking about one of the biggest clubs in the world, top 5 biggest clubs in the world. And manager, since Alex Ferguson decided that he was no longer going to strut the hallways of Old Trafford. And, you know, you can only go for the biggest and the best. And currently right now, I mean, the 2 best managers in the world, they're both French. And, you know, it's either Didier Deschamps, and he's not leaving the French job for nobody, or Zinedine Zidane, who's just won the Champions League 3 years in a row.
All right, folks, you're listening to Fifth Street Soccer here on the Sports Byline USA and SB Nation Radio Networks. Look, we're talking about odds and betting, and if you like to bet on the NFL or NHL or college football or the Premier League or Champions League, but you haven't been doing so well, wouldn't you like to bet with the pros? And there is a way you can do that. You can go to fifthstreetsports.com, sign up right now for the Fifth Street Advantage, get yourself a subscription. You're going to get daily tips, plays developed straight from the professional originating sports bettors out there, folks. This is the best stuff you're going to get. You can bet along with them and make some money. And if you sign up right now, you'll get a free line service from Sports Insights to really keep you up to the minute and find the best location for you to put your hard-earned money in. Get an edge with the Fifth Street Advantage at fifthstreetsports.com. All right, I'm going to go to break. We'll be right back after this.
All right, he's driving, so that's the best we're going to get.
Store shine with Armor All Original Protectant. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today and pick up a bottle of Armor All Original Protectant for $5.99. Renew, revitalize, and protect your vehicle with Armor All Original Protectant. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Everyone likes to, scrapbook. You scrapbook on the couch, the kitchen counter, and your favorite place to scrapbook, the bedroom. And what could possibly make scrapbooking any better? KY Duration. With KY Duration Spray and Gel, men everywhere are scrapbooking longer, and that's great for their partners who really enjoy scrapbooking too. So go ahead, scrapbook tonight with KY Duration Spray and Gel for men. Last longer, stay in the moment, use as directed.
If you or a loved one is suffering from a physical or emotional condition that has left you unable to work, then listen carefully. Take this number down, 800-593-7491. That's 800-593-7491. When you call, you'll speak with a Social Security disability expert and get a free evaluation to see if you may qualify for disability insurance benefits from the U.S. government. That's right, a monthly cash payment paid directly to you from the Social Security Administration. Whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied disability benefits, call now. The disability attorneys at Pinnacle Disability can help you build your case, file an appeal, and represent you at no upfront cost to you. Don't wait another minute to see if you may qualify for your Social Security disability benefits. Call Pinnacle Disability Group at 800-593-7491 for your free case evaluation. That's 800-593-7491. 800-593-7491. Call now.
It has been said that everyone has a book in them. But do you have the time or the ability to write your book? Maybe you picked up some skills or had a life experience that you want to pass on in the form of a book to help others. Maybe you want to leave an autobiography for your family. Or maybe you've built a successful business and you want to share your story. At Dorrance Publishing Company, we have professional writers who can help turn your book idea into a finished manuscript quickly and affordably. A Dorrance ghostwriter can provide as much or as little help as you need to complete your book. You'll work directly with your ghostwriter to finish your book faster than you ever could on your own. It's easy to become a published author. Call Dorrance now to learn more.
800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. Call right now. That number is 800-485-6003.
All right, folks, welcome back to the show. Fifth Street Soccer, Nick Eber and Nick Webster with you. Before we get on to the Champions League, I do have to talk about Daniel Sturridge's goal. Actually, saw two terrific goals in the Chelsea-Liverpool match, which was, in my mind, the match of the weekend. Wonderful, flowing, open football, end-to-end stuff, seat of your pants, drama till the very end. But my goodness, Daniel Sturridge. I mean, this is why, Nick Webster, I think Liverpool really are going to be challenging City for the title this year, because when their front three are not firing like they would like them, you can bring guys like Daniel Sturridge off the bench to score goals like that in critical situations at the end of the match.
Well, to be fair, I think on current form, Daniel Sturridge deserves a star. I mean, Salah, Mane, and Firmino are not really buzzing like they were last year in the goals department. Sturridge has scored 2 in 2. I think he scored five overall this season. And the quality of his goals is what's really taking the breath away, Nick. On Wednesday, it was a scissor kick. Yesterday, just an incredible 25-yarder that hits the top post. I mean, the top corner. But then he scored some scrappy goals as well. I mean, he is a goal scorer. And the interesting thing for me is, I think this move that he had to West Brom has opened up his eyes to what his life as a footballer could potentially be if he doesn't pull his finger out. I mean, remember that he was at City, he was at Chelsea, he's been at Liverpool. I mean, all top-class clubs. And then all of a sudden to go on loan to West Brom, I think his eyes must have been dangling out of his head and going, you know what? I have ability. I've got all the help in the world. It's time to knuckle down and figure out this fitness and you know, be a world-class player, which he is when he is fit.
Interestingly enough, he's been quoted as saying he's the one that asked for the West Brom loan spell last season, and he did it against Klopp's advice, because Klopp didn't really want him to go, but allowed him to go, because that's, again, we're talking about the modern breed of manager that treats their players like adults. Klopp certainly falls into that category. Just talking about how, as you pointed out, that loan spell which he asked for just really opened his eyes, and he recognized that, you know, he's been given an incredible opportunity to play at Liverpool, and, you know, he's going to fight for a starting role and fight to help the team. It was a very interesting interview with Daniel Sturridge, and I think, again, it shows a level of maturity. I think the players matured, and again, Nick, go back to the manager issue. You have to have a manager that will let your players mature and come to these decisions on their own.
Yeah, I mean, trust is one of the biggest components in the manager-player relationship, and you know, I mean, I hate to hark back to the special one at Manchester United, but currently he doesn't have that with his players. Jurgen Klopp certainly does. I think Sarri certainly does. Even to a lesser degree, Pep Guardiola. You know, he's had his run-ins with Sane and Aguero, but at the end of the day, you know, he's managed to turn those relationships around. And so I think Daniel Sturridge right now is repaying Jurgen Klopp's trust, and he's repaying him in the best possible way with goals.
Absolutely. Well, let's turn our attention, shall we, to the Champions League. Match day 2 is tomorrow. Very excited about the Champions League. It is the greatest show of them all. Man City travel to Hoffenheim, to the Rhein-Neckar Arena. Nick, I don't think City are going to be too troubled by Hoffenheim.
Well, City need a response, don't they? I mean, you lose 2-1 at home to Lyon, and all of a sudden you're staring at the group from the bottom of the table. So that's something that they desperately need to turn around. I mean, City on paper have far too much quality for Hoffenheim, and you know, I would expect them to go to Germany and reel off a comfortable 3-0 win. And especially, I think they got buoyed today by the news that Kevin De Bruyne, who they thought would be out for 3 months, is actually back in training. And you know what, City in Europe, I mean, the brief this year for Guardiola is simple. You know, win the Champions League. And I think if they don't get at least to the semi-final, regardless of what they do in the Premiership and the FA Cup and the League Cup, if they don't get at least to the semi-final, it would be considered a massive disappointment. So I fully expect them to go to Germany and come back with 3 points.
Yeah, I do too, Nick. And right now, I will tell you that they are the favorites there at minus 271 on the money line. Let's go to the next matches as we look down the list of the Champions League. Juventus, who had a great 3-1 victory in the weekend over Napoli in Serie A, are going to be hosting Young Boys. That is very much going to be men and boys, that particular match. I don't see Juventus losing that one, Nick.
No, regardless of the fact that Ronaldo is suspended for that game, Juventus way too much in the engine room department. I mean, we're looking at a V12 Maserati going up against a little popcorn car, maybe even a soapbox that's pedal powered.
Right. The next one in Athens, it's AEK Athens hosting Benfica. One almost likes the home team on this one, although neither of them are all that terrific.
No, they're not. I mean, they're not the powerhouses of yesteryear. I mean, obviously Benfica, one of the great legendary names of European soccer, and to be fair, AEK Athens back in the day used to put together some performances as well. I remember in the European Cup. Certainly a famous game in the 70s against Nottingham Forest. But, yeah, I mean, I think the home side should win this one.
Yeah, that's certainly how I feel about it as well. So let's move on to the next match. We've got Bayern Munich hosting Ajax. Both winners, I believe. Did Ajax win in their last group? Yes, they did. Bayern Munich, this is also Group E, Bayern Munich, Ajax. I pretty much think Bayern Munich are going to win this. I think this is in Germany, so I don't think this is going to be too troubling in München. But we'll have to see.
Well, I mean, another legendary night. Germany against Holland. I think the atmosphere at the Bayern Arena is going to be absolutely magnificent. But I can't see Bayern stubbing their foot in this one. They'll run away. Easy winners in this one here.
I think so as well. And, of course, the next match is Lyon. I believe they're at home. Is that right? Lyon at home against Shakhtar Donetsk. Shakhtar are not too bad of a team, but they did draw against Hoffenheim. Lyon beat, of course, Man City. This is in France. I expect Lyon to to do the business here.
Well, Lyon currently top of the table. I mean, they'll be desperate to maintain their perfect start, and I see Lyon winning this one with ease. Actually, I mean, they played with such panache and finesse at the Etihad. Not only on the break but when in possession of the ball. So, Lyon to take 3 points in this one and to remain top of the table.
Next match is Roma hosting Victoria Pilsen, which is my favorite beer in Italy. Roma, they lost, I want to say 3-0, right, to Real Madrid last time out. So this is a chance for them to push up the table. They really need to come second in this group. They're not going to overtake Real Madrid. I like Roma for this one, or a draw, Nick. How do you see it?
Yeah, well, Roma at the Stadio Olimpico always a tasty proposition, and we saw that last year when Barcelona went there and got their trousers pulled down. So I think Roma, they should be very comfortable and take all 3 points.
Yeah, and at minus 323, not a great deal of value there. We talked about CSKA Moscow against Real Madrid. This is in Moscow. Madrid have to travel. Moscow are currently plus 500 on the money line. If I'm going to have a little gamble, I'm not saying I think they're going to win, but I think, if they play this match 5 times, they're going to lose 5 times, Nick?
Probably not, because this is football, and as we've seen many times from this beautiful game, best team doesn't always win. So I would have a dabble. If you have a few bob that you can afford to lose, I think this could be the one to take a little flutter on and to win some big money.
Yeah, I mean the draw is 3-1. The win for Moscow pays 5-1. Yeah, exactly. It's a gamble. Madrid are by far better team. We're not saying Madrid are not the by far better team. They are. But this is football. This is just like any other sport. You never know. Who'd have thought the Cleveland Browns would be where they are today, right, Nick?
Well, yes, the Cleveland Browns, the fairy tale story of the NFL this year, and I'm sure your guys who covered the NFL have been picking the Browns with the money line, and if you've gone with them, you're probably in the money.
Well, probably, although it was a disappointing result if you put your money on them yesterday in overtime, but that's the way it is. All right, next one, we talk about Juventus against Young Boys. There's no value there at minus 589, plus 1,400 on the money line for Young Boys. That's 14-1, but they are not going to win. Young Boys are going to go winless in this Champions League group stages. And finally, Man United against Valencia, and that will round out tomorrow's matches. Nick, do you see any upsets here other than perhaps Real Madrid, other than Man United? I mean, I don't. I think it's pretty set, right?
Well, I mean, I think that the Man United game, all of a sudden has just taken on massive importance. And from my history of watching, Spanish teams and Valencia in particular, I mean, yeah, they may be mid-table in La Liga, but they're still a very dangerous team. And United's confidence right now is probably at an all-time low. Should the Old Trafford crowd get a little bit antsy in the 25th minute, well, I think we could quite easily see something. And I mean, I think this is when I talk to the listeners. There's in-game betting, and if it's 0-0 after 25 minutes, you might want to be thinking about putting a few little dollars on Valencia.
Yeah, and it's funny. You mentioned Valencia, of course, in terms of Serie A. They did come off and beat Sociedad over the weekend. But, Serie A is actually, all of a sudden, it's got a slightly different flavor to it. Obviously, after Cristiano Ronaldo's left Real Madrid and Lionel Messi's kind of, maybe on the back slope of his career a little bit, and there's some changes going on and some players aging out. All of a sudden, all the big teams are dropping points in La Liga, Nick. And it's become a little bit Premier League-like. I don't want to say that, but not quite. Where really anyone could kind of take points off of anyone at this point. As I mentioned, Valencia beating Sociedad over the weekend, but also Madrid. I mean, getting a draw at home against Atletico. Real Madrid against Atletico in the big Madrid derby. What a shocker!
Well, I don't think a draw is the end of the world for Real. However, losing in midweek to Sevilla was definitely a bit of a body blow.
Yeah.
And I think some of it may be, I hate to say it, but, we've talked about the changing of the guard and the fact that, Madrid are sans Zidane and sans Ronaldo. And, it just goes to show you how important these personalities are within their respective clubs.
All right, you're listening to Fifth Street Soccer, Sports Byline USA, SB Nation. I'm Nick Geber. He's Nick Webster. This is the time where we step aside and take a break. In the meantime, head over to FifthStreetSports.com and check out the Fifth Street Advantage. Sign up now. You'll get all the information you need to bet with the pros and stop being a square and start becoming a sharp better. Visit FifthStreetSports.com. We will be right back.
If you or someone you love suffers from drug addiction, now is the time.
All right, sounds good.
Health insurance PPO plan. If eligible, receive up to $30,000 or more in substance abuse benefits with low or no out-of-pocket cost. We are the National Treatment Network, the premier drug and alcohol treatment referral service operating 24/7. We help connect you with facilities nationwide that accepts PPO private health insurance for substance abuse. If you have PPO substance abuse coverage and you need immediate admittance to a medical detox or residential rehab treatment center, call us now. Call our live referral helpline today. The call is free. This program is not available to Medicare or Medicaid customers.
Call 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. That's 800-296-1252.
Do you have Medicare and do you use a CPAP machine? This is a national healthcare alert regarding your CPAP supplies. Using a clean CPAP mask and clean supplies is important to staying healthy. The best way to make sure your CPAP equipment is clean is to get new supplies. If you have Medicare, we have great news. Medicare will pay for you to have new clean supplies every 90 days. We'll even do all the paperwork for you to make sure that there's little to no out-of-pocket cost to you. And you don't even have to leave your home. We provide free in-home delivery. So if you're a CPAP user and you have Medicare, staying healthy with new CPAP equipment is easy. Just make this free phone call right now to get started.
Call the CPAP hotline now. 800-430-4234. 800-430-4234. That's 800-430-4234. Copays and deductibles apply. Supplies are replaced in accordance with Medicare guidelines.
Want to fly somewhere? Looking for cheap flights or cheap tickets? Then call. That's right. Call the low-cost airline travel hotline now for prices so low we can't publish them anywhere. Low Cost Airlines has all kinds of cheap travel deals. Fly domestically and save up to 75%. You can even fly internationally and save even more. Yes, fly anywhere in the world and save a lot of money on your plane tickets. We'll even save you money with cheap travel deals on hotels, rental cars, even complete travel packages. So don't book your tickets until you call us first for the absolute cheapest prices on U.S. and international airline tickets and hotels. Call right now for prices so low they can't be published. Travel experts are here 24/7 to help.
800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. That's 800-754-4531.
All right, you're back on Fifth Street Soccer with Nick Eber and Nick Webster. Nick, we just got a couple of minutes left before we have to wrap the show up. Of course, the truly big matches are happening Wednesday. The juicy matches would be Barcelona traveling to Wembley to play Tottenham and Liverpool going to the São Paulo to face Napoli. I personally cannot wait, but I'll be watching all the matches tomorrow eagerly with particular focus tomorrow on what happens at Old Trafford.
Yeah, Old Trafford will definitely have my attention. But, you mentioned the Barcelona travelling to Tottenham. Barcelona, right now, the prohibitive favourites. Tottenham are the underdogs, and that one surprises me. I think if you got a few bob to spare, get your money on Tottenham Hotspur, because I think they're a lot better at Wembley in the Champions League than people give them credit for. And then the Napoli-Liverpool game, that to me is a toss-up and perhaps the tie of the round.
Yeah, by the way, right now, Tottenham are plus 260 on the money line. They're plus a half at minus 119. It's the 3 goals. The over is minus 124. The under is plus 104. I think actually a low-scoring game for me, I think, benefits Tottenham. So we'll see on that one. So much to enjoy. We hope you have a great week with the Champions League. Just a reminder, we're with you every day this week, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll be back on tomorrow to talk more about the Champions League, to take more of your comments and calls at 800-878-PLAY. And, of course, follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Fifth Street Sports Talk. Nick, 15 seconds, final thought. Mourinho, does he last the week? Okay, you've used up your 15 seconds with silence. That's okay. I forgive you. Does he last the week, Nick?
Yes, he does. Yeah, he'll be here till Christmas.
All right, I think you're probably right, Nick. I think you're probably right. All right, folks, hope you enjoyed the show. Just a reminder, visit us on the web at fifthstreetsports.com. Visit us on Facebook, facebook.com/Fifth Street Sports Talk. For me, Nick Eber, and my co-host, Nick Webster, we wish you a great night and enjoy the Champions League. Cheers. We'll speak to you tomorrow.
All right, good show, Nick. Talk to you tomorrow.